Other one going? Hey, hello everybody. So we are going to continue our testing here. This is going to be, I think, the fourth day of testing we're doing. I've got some gravel here, so I kind of wanted to show how to make a lamp. So we have a bottle that has not been put together yet. So do a couple things, I think. I'm going to try to add some gravel to stuff I've already made. I'm just using my handy dandy bamboo teacup here to scoop. Ideally, I think a funnel or something would be better. So I'm just going to pour gravel in here, and that should help displace some of the fuel. So that's one of our existing ones. Kind of creates an interesting look. I would also recommend something like aquarium gravel would be really good to use. Aquarium gravel is really nice and colorful. This is just inexpensive gravel I was able to pick up from a hardware store. And then we're going to add some extra fuel to this one because it looks like it's burned down quite a bit. So it creates kind of an interesting look. It does several things. It makes the thing you've made much more bottom heavy and less likely to tip over. It also displaces fuel so that you use less fuel. Let's say you had to put together 20 or 30 of these and you didn't want to use as much fuel. The fuel today we're using is the Ner Mitzvah Paraffin Lamp Oil. I really like this paraffin lamp oil. It gives a kind of an odor of like a burning candle, I guess would be probably the closest I would call it. So this one's going to be a little tricky to fill up. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to place it right into the box with the gravel and kind of just shove gravel in. We'll see how that works. So just pouring it in. Ideally you'd have something like a funnel. These are 1/4-inch gravel pieces, so they fit nicely into this tiny bottle. So just keep pouring it in until it gets relatively full. So I think we're looking pretty good there. It makes this a lot less likely to tip over, a lot more bottom heavy. What else I have coming is I'm going to add some fuel now. I'm just using 4-ounce HDPE bottles that I sell as well. Alright, let's keep it going here. So I have probably want to add a little more fuel to this one. Okay, and I'm going to save a little bit of the fuel to drip down. So I have a piece of 1/2-inch fiberglass. And so why am I using my 1/2-inch fiberglass here is because I got 2 separate reviews saying my 1/2-inch doesn't work. One says it melted and kept on melting down and going out and had to be pulled up, and then it would melt right back down and go out again. Another person said they followed all my directions and they couldn't get it to stay lit. So after 4 days of testing with all of you, I'm about ready to say that I don't really believe, in my own personal opinion, I don't believe reviews on Amazon at all. This is pretty bad. So 2 different people were able to leave reviews without proving anything, and we've shown you 4 days in a row that my product works. You'll notice that my items have very low review numbers because I don't buy fake reviews. And after 4 days of testing, in my own personal opinion, I wouldn't believe any review I read on Amazon because my items clearly work. and there's really no resolution for this except for me to show you on video that my items work. It's my only defense really against fake reviews. So in my own personal opinion, I don't believe stuff I read, because you're about to watch. This is going to work for the 4th day in a row. It's not going to melt, and everything is going to be okay. So if I've used the same wick 4 days in a row and it hasn't melted, then clearly people are writing fake reviews. So I reached out to the customers who left the review, and I asked them questions such as what kind of lamp you were using, what kind of fuel you were using, and things like that, and I have not heard back from the customers. So I'm going to assume that these are fake customers who were paid to leave reviews against my company. That's my only thing, because if I was a real customer and I had problems with my product and a seller actually reached out to me and asked me a bunch of questions in this world of calling places and getting robots to speak to, I would be really happy that a human being was reaching out to me. So we're just kind of trying to get this approximately the right height. I do really simple oil bottle candles. I don't use any holders. I just literally shove the wick in there until I get it about the right height that I like. So let's see. Let's do a little bit of safety stuff before we light anything here. What is safety stuff here? I have two 5-pound, or two, these aren't 5-pound, I have 5-pound hanging on the wall. 2 fire extinguishers, just off camera. Always make sure that your fire extinguishers read full, so you have pressure. Never light any fire if you've been drinking alcohol or consuming drugs. Never let children or pets near your fire. And if you're going to have any sort of a fire device at a party, it needs to be cordoned off from everybody, because invariably, if you have something on a table that's on fire, somebody is going to bump into the table and knock it over, so you need to make sure that doesn't happen. Alright, so we're not pulling any punches here. You can see this is the really old wick. I might have to pull some of it up to get it working. These have been burning for 4 days in a row, so I have every expectation that I'm going to have to pull these wick up and trim them maybe, but you know what? We're just going to give it a shot. Yeah, see, that one might need to get pulled up a little further. This is the one that's barely showing. So what we're going to do, give it a little more wick. So what did I do there? I just pulled up a little bit of wick. It kind of had fallen back inside of the bottle because I just put a bunch of gravel in. That didn't help. So it's kind of not quite sitting down. So what I would do probably is I would get the wick in there and pour the gravel instead of putting the gravel in after the fact. But we're still going to work. See? Didn't melt. That's fiberglass wick. Still the same fiberglass wick. It's just barely showing a little bit of charring. And it's most importantly not melting. So this is even smaller than the 1/2 inch. Certainly this should melt because it's so thin. Here we have the 1/8 round cotton. Let's see if that's just going to work. Oop, that was lit. See, it's 4 days in a row. This is cotton, and we haven't even need to trim it. Now, it's become like a charcoal mess here, but it's still working. This is a 1/8 fiberglass. Again, same thing, not melted. You can see that. Just a little bit of charring, but you can still see the individual hairs. Now, I was fully expecting I was going to have to pull these up and trim them. So, after knowing that there was 2 1-star reviews, now actually there was, over the last 1.5 years, 2 years, it's more like 50 or 60 of these fake reviews I've been dealing with. But I want you to see, so that when you hear me say, in my own personal opinion, I don't trust anything I read. I don't trust any review I read, because right in front of your face, there's 4 things. It's been 4 days that we've been using these same wicks. Now, we created this one a couple days ago, so this is only going to be, remember this from the other day, Not even charred. Still using the same bottle. All this stuff has been sitting outdoors. It's been freezing at night, really hot during the day. Now this one I might have to prime. I would expect I'd have to prime that a little bit, but it looks like it might even take. So if anything, I'm going to pull up the wick a little bit because it looks like it's having a little bit of trouble there. Yeah, I think we're going to pull up the wick a little bit on this one. See, actually it's still lit. There we go. No worries, but you know what? I think I will advance the wick a little bit. So you see how just pulling up the wick a little bit substantially helped out our flame. I think that wick's showing a little too much. I think that's going to be a little too big of a flame. So we're going to see what we can do with this one to keep that. Stay in your home. Yeah, this one's going to be... It's a problem with doing live streams. Everything's live. Oh, okay, so we're going to try that. We'll see. Worst case, I think it's going to pop back up. So this one here, we just made this, brand new, also using 1/2 inch. You're gonna see the little fibers, right? You can just see the, just like hairs. So what we're gonna watch for is this gonna melt. So remember, we had reviews that said our item did not work. There we go. So it's a little windy today. I'll probably have to keep on lighting these. But the only thing that will melt on the 1/2 inch is it's encased in a polypropylene kind of netting because it's such a thick product. It needs something to kind of hold it together, especially in the liquid. So the polypropylene helps hold your wick together. And that's the only stuff that melts down. And you'll see that everything else is just fine. So we're going to blow this one out in a minute. You're going to see that the only thing that has melted on it is the netting that's around it, and looking in the center, everything is just fine. These are what's more than 4 days old. It's about a week old. 4 times at least that we've been doing these ones down here. Everything is still lighting up just fine. None of the fiberglass is melting. Even the cotton that's kind of burned down to like a little charcoal nub, that still lights just right up. And you'll see the one we've used several times is still working just fine. And most importantly, what we're looking for is the review said that this melts. It kept melting right down and going out. So that would imply that after just a minute or two, it melted down and went out. So I'm going to blow this one out and let's take a look at it. So I can still see the individual fibers. Now the one thing I'm going to see if I can do is I'm going to see if I can push this one down in a little bit further because that's a little bit bigger flame than I would like. So we're just going to see if we can get that to go in there a little bit and stay in there. That's funny. We'll try that. We'll see if that'll light. So this one here is almost not even showing any fibers at all. So you can see because the fibers are below the level of the glass, whereas these fibers are above the level of the glass. This is making a very small, like candle size flame. This one is like a larger candle size flame. If you want a big torch flame, you advance this a little more. But I would recommend, this is just for my own testing purposes so that you can see these are not even professionally bought. These are made myself and everything is working just fine. So if these improvised handmade ones are working just fine, I can't understand the customers who I've reached out to and asked to get back to me are not getting back to me about what conditions they're encountering. So after 4 times of doing this, I'm not seeing any melting on my fiberglass. I'm going to basically say I don't believe the review at all. And I think those customers were paid to leave fake reviews. Unfortunately. So in my own personal opinion, I wouldn't believe any reviews now. After seeing this working so many days in a row, I wouldn't believe any reviews in my own personal opinion. So in a minute or two, we're going to blow this one out. We're going to take a look. So what should be happening if the reviews were true and these were real customers, and not paid fake reviews, so you can see it's a little windy. My flame is going sideways. I'm going to see if we can do without the aluminum shrouds, because those are kind of make it harder to see everything. But I think it's good that it's windy. That even helps to test out a little bit to see that even if it works in the wind, then it should certainly work in ideal conditions. So this is our 4th day of doing testing. We are disproving fake 1-star reviews. It is way too easy to hire somebody to leave reviews against your competition. And after 4 days of testing my fiberglass and being unable to duplicate 2 separate reviews that said 1 star that said it wouldn't work. One said it kept on melting down. This is my 1/2-inch fiberglass, that it kept on melting down and would constantly go out, and you had to constantly advance the wick to get it to work. The other review said they followed all directions and couldn't get their item to stay lit. So seeing that these are highly improvised lamps, every single one of these are not professional. I wouldn't recommend doing this at home. This is just for my own testing purposes. But I wanted to show you that even a non-professional lamp works just fine with my wick, and I can only imagine a lamp that was designed by an engineer who knows about the mechanics of making a good wick and a good lamp, it would only work better. So when you see reviews that say something doesn't stay lit and it's something like a wick, you know what I'll say is that wicks just work. They work off the properties of physics. It's called capillary action. And so the way that a wick works is you have fibers that are very closely spaced together, and the fluid travels up along the close space. If anybody's ever made a slide for like a biology class, you take a little tiny drop of liquid and you place the glass onto the slide, and the liquid goes instantly all the way out to the edge of the slide. That's capillary action. So what's happening is there's thousands and thousands of little fibers there, and the fibers are not burning. What's happening is the fibers are so close together that the liquid tension, it just travels right up the fiber, and you're lighting the fiber you're evaporating and lighting the fuel at the tips, which is why you see the tips start to change color, because what's happening is there's a lot of carbon inside of fuels, and the carbon gets baked into the wick through the action of the burning. This is really impressive. Look at this. So I had 2 reviews, and if you look at all my reviews, we're going to do just a special where I show you about 40 or 50 reviews from last summer where people lied and said my product didn't work because they were paid. They were paid fake reviewers. So after 4 days of testing here, I had, just in the last week, 2 1-star reviews on mine. This is 1/2-inch wick, and that's 1/2-inch wick there. This is 3/8, and only a tiny bit of it is pulled through. This is 1/8, and only a tiny bit is pulled through, and none of this is melting. So when you see a review on Amazon, in my own personal opinion, based on my testing, I can't trust anything I read anymore. So 2 in the last week said my 1/2-inch melts, goes out. One said it melts and goes out. The other one said they followed all directions and they were not able to maintain a flame. It was burning unevenly and kept going out. So I don't know what is uneven burning. It's windy, but you can see this is making a nice flame. It's going up to a nice point, and the only thing that's causing the flame to be irregular is the fact that we have about 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing it sideways. So I want everybody to know, if you're looking at products and you look at some products and they have lots and lots and lots and lots of 5 stars, and you look at other products and it just seems like they have 3.5 stars or 4 stars, you really kind of need to be skeptical and worry about the ones that have hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews. Let me tell you a story. We had to do distance learning, and the distance learning, we bought some headphones, and inside of the package of headphones, this company had actually put there that you would get a free item if you reviewed their headphones and sent them the review. Now, my kids can read, so they read this little card and they say, "We can get a free item. Let's write a review." And then I explained to them the ethics and morality of writing fake reviews. So I told them, what I will do for you is we will use the product for a couple weeks, and if it still works and you genuinely like it, we will leave a review for it. So guess what happened after I left the review? Because they were actually quality headphones. It's really windy, so we're going to constantly be relighting these suckers. Maybe I will have to make some aluminum shrouds here. But you see they light right back up, and you can see that it's so windy that they're blowing sideways. So that's going to blow stuff out. And they light right back up. So anyway, back to the headphones. So we used the headphones, and they actually were quality headphones. The kids liked them, and they lasted. We still have them. So I didn't feel bad about writing a review for that, but I didn't write it right away. But then after I wrote the review, I got a whole bunch of emails saying, "Hey, we got a whole bunch of more products that you can review, and we'll give them to you for free if you review them for us." So that's how things work in real life. So I don't pay for 5-star reviews. I don't pay for any reviews. What I do is whenever I see a 1-star review against my company, I do lots and lots and lots of videos so that you can see you can't trust what you read. So in my own personal opinion, based on 4 times of doing testing with my fiberglass wick, I don't believe those reviews at all. I think that they were hired to leave attack reviews against my company. So the first 1-star review said the 1/2-inch wick here kept melting down. So you see this one is already below the level. Let's blow this out and we're going to relight it. This one is actually below the level of the glass. Can you see that? So if this was going to melt, it would melt down into the glass and then go out and not work at all. But here we go. Lights right back up, no problem, no melting. Let's blow that one out and take a look at it. I don't see any melting. Now, if the review was true, in the amount of time we've been doing this, this should have melted down and gone out. But it's not melting down, and it doesn't go out, and all you have to do, in fact, look how, this is the second time we've used this, and look how white the fiberglass still is. It's hardly charred. So what will happen, that's going, is you will foul the fiberglass because you're burning carbon into the fiberglass through the lighting and burning action. So you're taking all the carbon that's in the fuel and with the oxygen and everything, and it's kind of baking in the carbon into the fibers. So eventually you will carbon foul the fibers, and you will have to cut it off and advance it. And for anybody who says, well, oh my gosh, you have to do maintenance on your wicks, over 100 years ago there were several blues and gospel singers who sang a fantastic song, "Keep Your Lamps Trimmed and Burning." So that lets you know that over 100 years ago, people knew that you had to do a little bit of maintenance on wicks to keep them working correctly. So we're still going here. We're looking good. So what do we have going here? We have 1/2-inch fiberglass, 1/2-inch fiberglass, 1/8 fiberglass. This is a 1/8 round cotton that I kind of put in a U shape on the bottom, and what you're looking at is the 2 cut burning tips coming through. 4 days now, this little lump of charcoal will still light and keep working. So I think we should blow out our 3/8 and our 1/8 and look and see if those have melted, because certainly if it's going to melt, a thin piece like 1/8 should definitely melt, right? I don't know if you can see that, but I can still actually see how there's almost like a little V of individual fibers? I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is literally individual fibers can still be seen 4 days after we've been doing this. So the review said it would melt down, go out. You had to pull the wick up, relight it. It melted right back down, and then went out again. So the only thing that's blowing this out is our 15 mile to 10 mile an hour winds we got going here. But you'll notice it lights right back up, even after being blown out and relighting and blown out and relighting. So I'm going to keep doing these. I've been trying to get satisfaction on those 1-star reviews, and they're still there. So I'm hoping after 4 days of live streams, somebody will be able to see that those were fake paid reviews. And I think what I'm also going to do, if we can't get these 1-stars taken care of, I think my next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go on the computer and I'm going to show you how easy it is to buy fake reviews. There was a wonderful lady, Katie Sokolov of CNBC, who did a report about fake reviews. Really fantastic piece she did. And dead spot on. So after 4 days in a row, the reason we're doing all of these videos is because I received in the last 2 weeks, or in the last week I should say, 2 1-stars. I think we're going to have to start using a shroud because it's so windy. That's okay. I think it's actually good for the test to see it's really windy, it blows out, and then lights right back up with no problem. And most importantly, it's not melting. These are just going to keep going out. You know what? Let's start putting little shrouds on these guys. See if we can help a little bit. They're not very attractive, but it's better than having to relight these all the time. Okay. Get that one. And we might have to put a shroud on this one too. So generally, the larger the diameter of wick, the less likely it'll need to be. You notice how this one's got a little bit more showing and how much less it is easily blown out than the other ones. So on these small diameter wicks, it makes a big difference if it's windy. Blow this one out. Put the shroud on and then we'll relight it. I don't want to burn myself. Make sure that you can all see this. One thing I don't like about the shrouds is it makes it harder to see that they're actually lit. Okay, so if this one keeps going out or that one keeps going out, we'll have to, let me see, you can't quite see that, so let's open that up a little bit. Make sure you can see that these are burning. Yeah, everything is still burning. Okay, so in case anybody just joined us, the reason we're doing this testing is because in the last week we have received 2 1-star reviews saying that our fiberglass wick just melts down and doesn't work. So the review said something to the equivalent that it kept melting down, I'd have to pull it out and relight it, and then it would just melt back and go out again. So fiberglass wick not melting. Fiberglass wick not melting. The actual half-inch in the review not melting. The actual half-inch from the review not melting. So based on all of my days and days of testing, in my own personal opinion, I think those were fake reviews. I think I've done enough days of testing now. The fact that I reached out to the customers and asked them under what conditions this happened, and they have failed to get back to me. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say they are completely fake, because if I was having problems with a product and the owner of the company reached out to me and asked me a bunch of questions, I would probably get back to him and be really happy that somebody who was an actual human being was getting back to me and trying to help me. So the fact that nobody responded, it was 2 separate reviews, and neither reviewer responded to my questions. Neither reviewer reached out to me and said, I have a problem, can you please help me? And real people who are not paid to leave reviews, in my opinion, if I was having a problem with the product, I would reach out to the seller and say, hey, I'm having a problem. And then if after I had left a bad review, they reached out to me, I would still reach out to them and say, hey, yeah, can you help me? So the fact that I reached out to both reviewers and neither reviewer attempted to contact me before leaving the review, and also based on the fact that I can't get it to melt, they're fake. They were paid fake reviews. So that's not very cool. And the only thing I can do to defend myself is to show you my product actually working on live video stream. So today is Friday. This is not pre-recorded. This is all live. It's Friday, what is it, like the 16th, I think it is? Friday the 16th in July. This is all live content. You can see I have an extra bottle than the last live stream I did. Really liking this gravel. I'll show you that a little bit. Let me blow this one out so I can safely pick it up. So if you use colorful gravel, it can make an even nicer look, but I like this. It's kind of interesting looking. Most importantly, you see that's still not melted. Still not melted. Slightly charred. That's gonna happen. You know, you're gonna bake some carbon into it. That's gonna definitely happen. But it's not melting, and it's gonna light right back up. It lit right back up. Look at that. All right, so we'll do this a little bit longer. Just so you see I'm not pulling any punches. You know what I'm gonna grab too? I'm gonna grab a little kitchen timer so you can see a live clock running during the live stream, so you know there's no shenanigans. They're still lit. Alright, let's see where I can put this. So, let's see if I can put that right there and if everybody will be able to see it. It's really bright out, so it's hard for me to see. Hello, I see that people are typing the text. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm having a lot of trouble doing this on my cell phone, so it's not easy to see these texts here. Hey, they're all still lit. Okay, so to answer your question, yes. Let me write that. Okay. So make sure you can see the timer going. Everything is good. We're all still lit. So I think we'll keep this going a little bit longer. my basic point was to show that these work. So what I'm on about here is that I've received 2 1-star reviews in the last week saying my half-inch fiberglass would just burn right out and go out. And I think that is a paid fake review. I made an attempt to reach out to the 2 reviewers and ask them questions such as what kind of lamp you were using, what kind of fuel you were using, and I didn't hear anything back. Most importantly, before the people left the reviews, they did not make any attempt to contact me and say, hey, I'm having some problems, can you please help me? So all of that is leading me to believe that those were paid fake reviews, in my personal opinion. So when you look and you're looking at reviews and you see somebody who has hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews, I would be a little dubious because I've been selling since 2016 and my most reviewed item has just over 100 reviews since 2016. Now a lot of them I've had to get rid of over the years because there'll just be a string. Last summer especially, there was just a string of 1-star reviews saying it won't stay lit. So I had about 50 some odd items get taken down by fake 1-star reviews saying my products don't stay lit. So I'm just going to have to keep on doing live streams to show my customers that you can't believe things you read in reviews, unfortunately. People can get paid to leave fake reviews. And in my personal opinion, after 4 days of being unable to get even the smallest fiberglass to melt, those are definitely fake paid reviews. So that's kind of sad, it's kind of icky, and a little bit gross. So anyway, what can you do? You do live streams showing your products work. That's the only thing you can do. Suppose I could also see about taking them to court, maybe. That's a good idea, too. Anybody who makes a statement that can't be shown. So if you make a statement like it melts and constantly goes out, that could be something you could be asked to demonstrate in a courtroom or be charged with intentional infliction of mental distress and libel and slander. So that's another way to go about it, I guess. Hire an attorney and start going after the people who have left fake reviews. But I don't know. I'd rather just show videos so that you know that you can't trust any reviews, in my personal opinion. It's so easy to buy fake reviews. So I think the next thing I'm going to do, if I still have those 1-star reviews and we can't get any solution on this, I think I'll start doing live streams showing me going on the computer and show you how cheap it is to actually buy fake reviews. So I'm going to show you how cheap it is to buy fake reviews, and then I'm going to show how few reviews I have, and maybe we'll even look at some of my competitors. We won't say anything. We'll just say, wow, look, this person has 1,000 reviews. That's very interesting. I've been selling since 2016, and I only have 100 on my most popular item. That's very interesting. So the review industry, that's definitely what I'd call it, is a review industry. So you can buy yourself 5 stars, you could buy 1 stars for your competitors. It's super easy. So I'll tell you when this happened to me last summer. Did a couple of things. I found a really fantastic article from CNBC done by Katie Sokolov. And Katie Sokolov worked with Amazon to help try to uncover fake reviewers. And she interviewed a bunch of different companies. So to give you an idea, the actual rate of reviews is somewhere around, you sell 100 items and you get 1 real review. And I would say that's about right. Maybe even less, because people are busy and they don't leave reviews. I was a professional buyer for a company, and I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on Amazon, and I didn't leave a single review. So I bought stuff professionally for a company that had 2 offices. It was like a $5 million a year company at its height, and never left a single review on Amazon of all the things I ever bought. And I asked around all my friends, do you guys leave reviews on Amazon? They're like, no. Do you buy stuff? Yeah, we buy lots of stuff. Do you ever leave reviews? No, we don't leave reviews. So, anyway, what did the review say? It said my item melted down and kept going out. So we have to be going on 20 to 30 minutes probably, I would imagine, now. And the only thing that'll make my item go out is a 15-mile-an-hour wind gust. And once I put them in the shrouds, they haven't really gone out at all. So, anyway, we'll keep doing these. People will leave fake reviews. We'll keep doing live stream videos showing the product working so that you can't trust, in my personal opinion, you can't trust anything you read in the form of a review because it's just so easy to buy fake ones. So let's go back to, so I did a bunch of, I was doing fantastic business last year. People were at home and they were building their own, having fun doing projects. I was selling things very well, surprisingly. And my items had started to make it to first page search results. And the second my items started showing up as first page search results, now let me tell you, it took a lot of sales to get there to be a first page search result on Amazon. And the second I got there, my items would systematically be taken down with fake reviews. All of a sudden, they worked perfectly to get me there to that first page search result on Amazon. But once I was there, all of a sudden my items stopped working and they won't stay lit. So I would get reviews saying it was the wrong size, it would burn down. One of them even said it burnt down and fell into the hole, which is absolutely ridiculous because you see, when they burn down, like the cotton, it becomes like a charcoal ball. So the idea that that's going to burn down and fall into the hole is silly. This is 4 days in a row we're using the same burnt up piece of charcoal cotton right there. And it's working just fine. It's working better than fine. Look at that flame for how little tiny wick is showing. So, anyway, so I started doing some more research. I found the Katie Sokolov CNBC article about fake reviews. And then I found, I started doing research and I figured out that for as little as $10 plus the cost of the item, people were probably, that's all, as little as they were having to pay to destroy my company. $10 plus the item cost. So, anyway, but through all of that, my commitment is to not buy fake reviews. So, when you look at all my items, they're pretty much either no reviews or just a couple reviews, and the only ones that have been around for a bunch of years and sell very well, the highest reviewed one has us over 100 reviews, and that's it, since 2016. So, it takes a very, very, very long time to accumulate even 100 real reviews, in my personal opinion. And my customers are fantastic. So I'm going to say my customers leave more reviews on average than the regular customer, and I still only got to 100 reviews since 2016 on my most popular item. So I think we're just going to sit back and enjoy a few minutes of just having the fire go. I'll try to stop talking here. But, I don't know. I really got to get on it because it's really a little upsetting to have people be able to say that your stuff just melts and goes out. Especially with fiberglass, because a lot of people don't know. I like working on old cars, and part of liking working on old cars is you have to build some skills. And so when I had more free time before the kids, I volunteered at a machine shop. I went and I needed to do a brake upgrade on my old Datsun, and I needed some aluminum spacers, which was basically like an aluminum donut, a solid piece of aluminum circle, like 6-inch circle. And so my friend suggested I go to a machine shop, and I go there, and the guy says, sure, I'll cut your stuff. But before he does that, he shows me around the entire machine shop, and he's so proud of the place, and he has such a big smile on his face. And then he cuts the aluminum for me, and I go home. And I'm thinking about this guy and how happy he is and how interesting he is. And this man is about 70 years old, I would say. Been machining since he was 16 or 17 years old. And it's two brothers, and then they had another business partner. And they had the machine shop. So I asked my wife, and then I asked my boss, and they all let me get to work early and take off an hour early. And so for every day, I would go spend an hour at the machine shop and learn machining. So that was a lot of fun. So anyway, you learn a lot of things. And where are we going with the machine shop? The other thing I did was I also took some welding classes, because you need to kind of know a little bit about welding if you want to work on old cars. And so I took a bunch of Tig welding classes. And so in welding, you see that they use fiberglass for their welding blankets. So fiberglass is so fire resistant that it can catch molten hot pieces of metal that spatter onto a fiberglass blanket and it doesn't melt. So then you have to ask yourself, well, you're using fiberglass to make fire. So what's happening is these little glass fibers are so closely spaced to each other, they work perfectly for pulling up fuel, because the thing you need to have a good wick, really the only thing, is you need to have fibers that are touching each other and closely spaced. The closer the space, the more effective the wick, because the closer they are, the further water can travel up on that little tiny hairline gap between the two fibers. So we are, let's see, we're at 13 minutes on my timer, and I didn't bring this out until more than halfway into this, so I'm going to say we're probably at least a half hour into the live stream. Still working just fine. Once I put on the wind shrouds, everything's working okay. These seem to be doing well without even wind shrouds. This still has not melted down. You noticed that when we blew that out, that was below the level of the glass lip. These have not melted down. They're not burning out. You know, this one especially, this one's perfect for showing how intact the fibers are. So on these guys right here, you can see I just blew this out. This is going to be molten hot. This glass lid is super, super hot. Don't ever touch that. The glass jar, not so much so. But, you know, for people, I've been doing these for years now, if people have been following my live videos. So always let everything cool down before you touch it. I've been working with these a lot, so I know I can blow them out, and as long as I grab it below the metal lid, I won't burn myself. But I want to show, you can still see the collection of fibers are forming like a V shape, and it has not melted down. Look at those little tips, little tiny tips encased in the fire for over a half hour now, and really hours and hours, because you know we've done at least 4 days of these. So again, in my personal opinion, after doing over 4 days of testing of my fiberglass wick, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't trust a single thing you read in the way of reviews, because it's so easy to get paid to leave a fake review. So anyway, we'll let this go. Yeah, you know what? We're just going to let it go till the battery runs out. So today is Friday the 17th. This is live video. This is not pre-recorded. This is very similar to our other videos because we're doing testing of our wick. We're doing long-term endurance testing. You'll notice on this test we have an extra bottle now, which has gravel in the bottom. So I have coming a hammered stainless steel wine, like a wine chiller bucket. And so my idea, once it comes, although I think it's on the slow boat, so it's probably going to be closer to August when we actually get that. But my idea is going to be to create a safer kind of a centerpiece. There is no such thing as a safe fire centerpiece, because fire is always dangerous and you always need to have respect for fire. I have 2 fire extinguishers, which are charged just off camera. You must always have respect for fire. I've been doing these for years and have lots of experience doing do-it-yourself projects. So do not try this at home. This is only to demonstrate. And the point of the demonstration is each one of these are highly improvised do-it-yourself oil lamps. I would never recommend you do these for your own personal use. It would be too easy for these to get knocked over and start a fire. But I have this inside an aluminum tray. I have it inside of a firebox, and I also have 2 fire extinguishers just off camera at the ready. But the important thing is that we had 2 1-star reviews in the last week. And what I'd like to point out is the people were using professionally made lamps, and they say it went out. I'm using highly improvised lamps, and none of my stuff is going out. So you need to ask yourself, And you need to understand that people leave fake reviews, unfortunately. So in my personal opinion, after 4 days of this, I can't get fiberglass to melt 1/8, I can't get the 3/8 to melt, and I can't get the 1/2 inch to melt. So in my personal opinion, and the fact that the reviewers didn't bother to get back to me, the reviewers never bothered to contact me before the fact and say, we're having problems, can you please help? I'm going to definitely say they were paid fake reviewers, because my product works just fine after 4 days of testing. I am completely unable to duplicate what I read in the reviews. So I'm going to call those 100% fake, and they were paid and designed to hurt my company. Why? Because I don't buy fake reviews. And because I don't buy fake reviews, most of my items have 0 reviews or less than 10 reviews, and they sell just fine. They make it up to first page results, and once they make it up to first page results with almost no reviews, they get taken down by fake reviews. So last year, they were actually mostly verbal reviews. This year, except for those, I think I've only had 3 written ones, for the most part, the way they're doing it now is they're leaving multiple 3 stars and 1 stars with no comment. And then you really have trouble figuring out who left a review for you because it doesn't have a name. So what can you do? You just do a bunch of live streams so that the customers know, okay, I'm reading a review that says this doesn't work, but I'm looking on camera live. I can see a timer running. I'm watching a live stream. I'm hearing him talk. I'm not seeing cuts in the video, and it's super windy and the items work. So now I have to ask myself, all these reviews that I read, are they all fake? So we're going to just let this run. This is a live stream. This is live content. This is not pre-recorded. Today is Friday the 16th, I believe, of July. Something around there. But it's definitely a Friday. We are live. These are live. This is not pre-recorded content, and I am defending my company against fake 1-star reviews. Fake paid 1-star reviews. 2 reviews said would melt, burn down. So what should be happening is it should be melting down in a minute or 2 into the bottom.